Can you guess what it is? Have you seen it coming? Guitar addiction syndrome. It's an uncontrollable urge to keep buying things that you probably shouldn't buy. The first thing is the suggestions there, isn't it? You know, something pops up and you go, ooh, I should have that. And then you probably go for a period of justifying it. You know, how do you justify that? Everyone has to have a Gibson Les Paul that is the one. That's what this is all about, I guess. Is this a bit of a mongrel? What's happened? This one stands out. It's a rarity. Hello all, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Guitaristas. So just wind the clock back to last week. This time last week, I think I said at the end of that film, I can't buy a new guitar every week, can I? Apparently I can. Yeah, I had a bit of a gas attack this week and this turned up. Should we find out what it is? And then we'll carry on with all the waffle. But yeah, let's get stuck in. Can you guess what it is? Have you seen it coming? Some of you might have done. Here we go. It's a hard case. Oh, and it's upside down. Can you guess? I'm sure you're all over it by now. Here we go. Ta-da! It's a Gibson Les Paul Standard 50s. I got another one. It's a Gibson Les Paul Standard 50s. I don't know. Right, what we're going to do is, in a minute, we're going to talk a little bit more about how and why. And obviously, we're going to do a full-on deep dive review of this guitar today. All the stuff, you know, weights and measures, take it apart, play it loud, see what it sounds like. Look, you know, have a close look at the QC, see what a 2023 Les Paul Standard's like. So, yeah. Before we get stuck into the specs, we'll do a little bit of waffle. So don't forget, timestamps in the description box. If you're in a little bit of a hurry and you want to crack on, you know, you can skip forward to hear what it sounds like or whatever. If, however, you got a little bit of time in your hands, you know the score, go and put the kettle on, get some nibbles lined up and come back and chill out and join us. And let's get stuck in and find out what this 2023 Gibson's like. Yeah, let's do it. Let's get stuck in. So did you see it coming? It was always on the cards, let's face it. Even 6 months ago, it was about 6 months ago, I think January, when I sold the one I had before. This is a Les Paul Standard 50s Heritage Cherry, same model I had before. Sold it in January. And I made a film about that, and even then I said, that opens the door for me to buy another Les Paul Standard or even maybe another custom shop one in the future. And then a couple of weeks ago when I got this, the Japanese Tokai Love Rock, I'm talking about it again. I think I'm going down a Les Paul rabbit hole again. I think it's been probably 6 months. I think it's about 6 months since I sold my Gibson. And by the time I made the pickguard on or off film, there was a plan. I'm going to go on a little bit of a hunt. Another Les Paul Standard Gibson that's under £9. So, you know, gas works in mysterious ways. Guitar addiction syndrome or gear addiction syndrome for some people. Some people were all over pedals and well, everything, anything that's gear. I'm more guitars, amps, guitars and amps, so, you know, call it what you will anyway. Basically, it's an uncontrollable urge to keep buying things that you probably shouldn't buy. So I had a plan. You know, with gas, you need, the first thing is the suggestions there, isn't it? You know, something pops up and you go, oh, I should have that, or I'd like that. And then you probably go for a period of justifying it. You know, how do you justify that? And then the next step is finance. If you can finance it, you got no hope. It turns up. So all of the elements of a major gas attack were pretty much in place. I had the suggestion for ages, the justification, I need it for the channel. And I had some finance lined up for next month because I knew it was going to happen. But I thought the search was going to take longer. The search for a Gibson Les Paul Standard that weighed a bit under £9. That was the plan. And I thought, well, maybe I'll go out and try some in some shops or whatever. I'd already looked on the Coda Music website as one of the shops in the UK that photograph and weigh all of their guitars. You can choose a specific one, like they do on Sweetwater in the States. And I included a clip of that in the Tokai film, I think it was, where we looked at some. And that's where that plan started, wasn't it? You know, all £9.5, all £10, you know, too much. Can I find one under £9? And then just last week, I was delighted to find that there were two other shops in the UK and now doing exactly the same. So Guitar and Anderton's are now both photographing the guitars, the specific guitars, and weighing and putting the weights on. So one night, I think it was Thursday night last week, I discovered this. So I'm on Guitar website and I'm starting to peruse Les Paul Standard. I'm making a plan, you know, I'm thinking, okay, let's start looking, see what's out there. So I've pretty much decided at this point that I'm looking for a Les Paul Standard 50s in Heritage Cherry. I'm happy, so that's where I'm looking. They just had a delivery of it. They got 33 available. So I'm going to start looking at the weights on these things, see where we're going. 33, 33 to choose from. Good heavens. What have we got? Okay, £9 3 ounces, £9 4 ounces. This seems to be about the average weight. £9 2, £9 5, just over 9, £10 4. You can see the difference. There's a difference, a big difference in weight that you will notice there. There's a pound difference, and that's a fair amount, you know. It's a fair amount. £9 2, £9 1 2, £10. There you go. £9 1, £9 4. £9, bang on, £9. Oh, it's a contender. £9 6, £9, oh, just over. £9 8, £9 5, there. £9 7, it's 9.5, isn't it? £10, or just under, isn't it? I can never remember if it's 14 ounces or 16 ounces in a pound. Oh, and apologies for doing this in pounds and ounces rather than kilograms. They have got the kilogram measurements on here as well, I think. But it would take forever. I was going to do that as well. So, you know. Oh, hello. What we got here? £8, 8 ounces. Hello. Oh man, that's 8.5 pounds. Let's look at the top on this as well. Let's look at the top. It's a bit plain. It's a bit plain. Okay, but this This is exciting. Look at that. Let's go through. Let's look at these pictures. Yeah, it's a little bit underwhelming, that top. I do like a plain top, but not convinced by that. Here you go. Anyway, £8, 8 ounces. Okay. £2,199. RRP says, well, okay, it says 2,429. Presumably that's what they were selling it for. The actual retail price of these in the UK is 2,799. Not many people are selling them for that. Most people, street price, £2,199. Okay, so now let's jump onto the Andertons website, because I've also discovered that they're doing the same. And they've got a smaller selection. Let's go straight to that Les Paul Standard 50s. There we go. Load that up. Heritage Cherry Sunburst, again, £2,199. There you go. What they got 7. Hang on. In straight away. What's that? £8.4. No, it's got to be a mistake, surely. £8.4. And then £10 next to it. £10, £9.3. £9 3 ounces. £8.8. £8.4. Let's have a look at this. Okay. That looks interesting. Quite flamey, isn't it? Quite flamey. £8.4. Oh, £8.4, look. That's amazing. That's unheard of, isn't it? For a standard, I mean, custom shop, yeah. Standard. Look at that. Oh, I'm digging this. Oh, wow, that looks nice. It's plain in that picture. You've got some nice grain going on. But you can also see the flame as well. Oh, yeah. Hello. Hello. Okay. Okay, yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Come on. And you know what happens next? And here it is. Like next day, really. Next day. Let's take this off. So this is the QC pre-pack checklist from, this is the Gibson one. And then you also get an Andertons one. And I paid full price for this, by the way. It's not sponsored, this film. It's quite flamey. It's quite flamey, isn't it? I said in the Tokai film, I like a plain top. I like a bit of flame. This is quite a lot of flame on it, but it's very 3D. So I'm going to do a few shots now. So hopefully you can see that I'm looking at it now and I can't really see much flame. Straight on that camera there, that's showing it. At its flamiest perhaps, and then if I do a bit of tilting, you'll probably see. Do some, there you go, do some on that camera. Fire. I think I've landed a really nice top again. I really like this. I wish I've got the Beauty of the Burst book, and it goes into great detail about sawn. I can't remember. I should learn this stuff really. Cross sawn or flat sawn, that sort of thing. I wish I could tell you what that was. I can't. Maybe you can tell me. How's that sawn? Anyway, it's very cool and it's very light for a Les Paul. I can tell that straight away. Shall we weigh it and find out if Andertons were telling fibs or not? Because £8.4 for a bog standard Les Paul standard. So let's see how accurate Anderton's scales are, shall we? Here we go. £8 6 ounces. So, and that, of course, is just 3.8 kilos, isn't it? So, £8 6 ounces. Well, you know, I'm not going to quibble about that, am I? It's still a fantastic weight. I'll tell you what occurs to me as well with this one. I can take the pick guard off, can't I? Should we take the pick guard off and see what it looks like and see how much it weighs without the pick guard? I like it. Oh, I like it. Oh, let's weigh it. £8.5. Oh, it's an ounce. It's another ounce. That's unbelievable. 3.77k. Amazing. I'm digging the look of that as well, I must say. Get this out of the way. Well, so far, I'm loving it. What we're going to do now, well, we'll review it. Yeah, we'll stop waffling and actually, yeah, let's actually review it. It's got a maple cap, as you can see, with lovely flame and lovely, however cut it is, timber on it. It's got a one-piece mahogany body, and it weighs £8 5 ounces without the pick guard. Amazing. So Heritage Cherry 50s. As I said, the retail price of this in the UK is £2,799. In the US, $2,999. I'm not sure what they're selling for at the moment in the States, but in the UK, the street price for this one, the Heritage Cherry 50s, is around about £2,199, which, interestingly enough, is exactly the same that I paid for my first one. It was over 2 years ago when I bought that. I paid £2,190, I think it might have been £195. So the actual street price of these has not gone up in 2 years. 2 years. So although, you know, they want to charge more and the prices have gone up and the cost of living's gone up and stuff, people aren't paying, clearly they're not paying, you know, that for them. They don't want to pay that for them. So, you know, the public have spoken and they're saying a Gibson Les Paul, well, we'll pay a couple of grand for them, but not 3. So, first off, the finish. The first thing I'm going to look at is the binding along the neck. There are no ridges. There's no bleed of the die. Same on that side. It's neat. It's neat and tidy. Tiny little bit of a ridge there. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, yeah. I sound surprised. I can't see any. I mean, I'm saying this because, you know, Gibsons can be a little bit hit and miss. This is a brand new model, 2023. I think it's 22 actually. The serial number's 22. So yeah, it was made last year, one would think anyway. So, you know, you always hope that they kind of improve their output from those crafteries out there. Is anyone craftery? Isn't that a little bit pretentious? It's a factory, isn't it? It's a factory. Anyway, this looks tidy. So I'm looking at the binding now. It's got fret nibs. They're pretty neat. I'm dropping in some close-ups now as I speak, so you can see for yourselves. Obviously, the camera is a lot more, can see a lot better than my eyes, because, you know, you're looking at it in 4K really close up. I can't actually see any tooling marks with my naked eye. The camera might be picking some up, but they're not too obvious. They're not obvious. There's nothing gnarly on there to note, so that's good. They put a graphite nuts on these. I think it's called a graphite nut, as you can see, and it looks to be a cut above. I didn't plan that. It just came out, a cut above. The ones they used to put on, they always used to be a little bit crap, but this looks maybe they've improved their nuts at those Gibson crafteries. Headstock, you know, there you go, standard printed on the truss rod cover. They also include a blank truss rod cover in the case, which reminds me, yes, it's got that beautiful, if you like that sort of thing, Gibson nitrocellulose smell. Do you know what? I can't believe how light this is. It's really incredibly light. And it smells gorgeous. Now the neck. Here's the thing, okay? So this is the standard, the 50s, which has got the chunky neck, hasn't it? And I did consider not getting the 50s this time because I thought the one I had before was pretty chunky, and I thought maybe a 60s would be better. As it turned out, obviously I bought it online anyway, and I just thought, okay, no, I'll go for it. I like a chunky neck anyway. Strange thing though, this neck is very different to the one I had before. Same model, standard 50s, very different neck profile and measurements. So here's the neck profile and measurements of this one on the screen now. Here's the profile and measurements at the 1st fret. And here's the neck profile and measurements at the 12th fret. Now, let's compare that to the one I had before. I'll put them side by side. This is quite slim compared to the older one. But at the 1st fret, it's just under 21 mil. So let's say 21 mil for the sake of argument. Whereas the older one was nearly 23. And at the 12th fret, the same going on. This is just over 24. And the old one was just 25 mil. So there's a millimetre difference up at the 12th fret. I noticed it straight away. I thought, this is not a 50s neck. It didn't feel like what I previously knew to be a 50s neck. So that's interesting. It begs the question, is there much variance, or is there that much variance normally in Gibson necks, or have they changed the profile for this? My guess is they might have changed the profile a little bit, given that the earlier one was probably a little bit too chunky for a lot of people. I don't know though. Do you know the answer? Let me know in the comments section. There's a thing for you. There's a thing. It might be a big thing for some people. I don't know. I'm quite happy with this though. It feels good. It feels nice. It feels like a slim neck. It really does. It feels like a slim neck. So I suppose for me, it's kind of worked out all right because I was a little bit thinking, is the other one a little bit too fat for me? Anyway, there you go. Maybe this is the one. It's got a good weight. I like the look of it. I like the neck. Let's go further. So yeah, the top, as we've seen, it's good. It's nice. If you like your flame, you're going to love this. You really are. Now, the only thing I noticed, the pickups didn't have plastic on them, and it's got some tarnishing. I don't know if it's. Do you know what I think that might be, actually? Do you know what I think? I've just realised that I think it might be where some pressure's been put on it in transit, and the strings have actually marked the pickup covers. I reckon that's what that is, you know. It doesn't, however, explain the tarnishing on the bridge. Does it? That's weird. It didn't have any signs of being played. I know it had been unboxed at Anderton because the photography, and they put a sticker on the box to show you that as well. There weren't any obvious marks on the pick guard. Anyway, yeah, that's weird, that tarnishing. I mean, I don't mind it because they go like that anyway after a fairly short while, don't they? And I quite like my guitars to be a bit aged, so this has started aging, I suppose. That's a very light aluminium tailpiece. While I've got it in my hand, I might as well weigh it, mightn't I? Advanced plating, Ali, nice, 35 grams. Might as well do the Gibson ABR1 bridge as well while we're at it. Standard 59 grams. There you go. Bit out of order now. Fingerboard is rosewood. There you go. It's quite dark. It's quite nice. As it should be, really, shouldn't it? Probably could do a little bit of oil that. Yeah, and the frets are nice. These come fully plecked, don't they, I think? So there's no surprise. I played this at home. No surprise that it plays great. The action was very low. The action was very low on the high E side. Too low for me. I had to raise it up a tad. It was pretty much at its lowest setting when I got it, which is way too low for me anyway. So I've raised it up. So yeah, there's no issues apart from. Oh no, it's not an issue. It just needs screwing down. I thought it was sticking up. It's not sticking up. Well, it was sticking up because it had been screwed up, but I've screwed it down again. I always screw the tailpiece right down. People have their preferences. I'll top wrap this when I put new set strings on. Right, that's that. You know, the stuff, you know, the layout. It's got the gold top hat knobs with thumb bleeders, got the full works going on. It's got your 3-way switch. This has CTS pots and switchcraft. We'll have a look inside in a minute. And before we do that, let's take some pickup readings, and then we'll pop the pickups up and have a look under those. See what it looks like underneath. So let's see if there's anything unusual about these pickups, shall we? We should have a burst bucker 1 in the neck and a burst bucker 2 in the bridge position. All controls on 10. Let's have a look at the bridge first. Yeah, 8.14 kilo ohms, and the inductance is 2.81 henries, and on the neck 7.62k. 3.85 Henrys. There you go. Let's just take a middle reading for the sake of it. 3.93K. All fairly normal and as expected there, I think. Let's undo them and have a look underneath. Here we go. Let's start with the neck. Got any cable? Good. There we go. Standard fare. Nothing much to see. It doesn't have a long neck tenon. This model, as we discovered before when we looked at the older one we had. So no change there at all. It's got LPS 500 stamped there. Les Paul standard 500. Yeah. Anyway, you can't see. There's not much to see there. You can see the maple cap and the paint. And yeah, burst buckle 1, 20th of December 22. Burst buckle 2, 6 of the first 23. Okay, so this was assembled in 23. And this is what it looks like in the control cavity. CTS Gibson branded pots. 0.22 orange drop capacitors. There you go. There you go. Looks neat and tidy. That's that. Let's put a new set of strings on, plug it in, see what it sounds like. See you in a minute. Sounds good unplugged. It's got a really nice, bright, open sound. Okay, I'm using the Princeton 65 today, same rig as always for continuity purposes. On the board, I have got the TC Spark and the Rat pedal. I'll show you if I'm using them, but this is all clean to start with, all clean straight into the amp. This is what it sounds like plugged in. I'm fully open to start with on the bridge. Sounds all right, doesn't it? I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I'm digging it. Neck. Calm down, Cole. Neck. Overexcited bend. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Little bit of spark on it. Tuning stability is good. That nut, they've sorted the nut. I'll do some close-up. Well, I've done some close-up. Well, I might have done by now. Yeah, I probably have. Now, I'm going to talk about it in a bit. I'm going to compare this nut with the one on the one I had before. Same model, different nut. They've sorted it. About fucking time, but they've sorted it. Okay. Look, it sounds great, doesn't it? It sounds... The clarity is there, isn't it? So obviously I've been playing it for a little bit now, and being nitrocellulose, you can see a little bit of ghosting, I'm going to call it, which just wipes off if you're careful. I've learned my lesson with these. The last one of these that I had was pretty fucked up by the time I sold it. Had a big old stand rash mark on the back and a chip. So this one, as you can see, I've been using the cloth to sort of try and prevent any marking, and I haven't put this on a stand yet. So yeah, but I've been playing it now, so, and it's already got some minor scratching. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but some minor scratching on there. So, you know, I don't know if I'm going to keep this, or I don't know if I'm going to sell it. So whatever happens, it'll be what it is when I've decided. At this point, I really like it. I really like it. This one stands out because the minute you pick it up, it's comfortable. It feels comfortable. It's not a big old lump like some of them. Not that the last one I had was, but you know, this is quite a bit lighter than that. I think that was 811, so it weren't no heavyweight. I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves me correctly, but I may be wrong, but it weren't a heavyweight one. I'd begun to wonder if I'd made a mistake selling it, to be honest with you. But anyway, I've got this one now instead. and it's got a lot going for it. It sounds great, doesn't it? Sounds good. Sounds good. So I'd like to spend some more time bonding with this and playing with it before I give a full-on kind of, is it the one sort of view? It could be. It could be is all I can say at this point. What we will do, of course, is we'll compare this to the Tokai that I only recently got and the Eastman that I've had for a while now. The Eastman is definitely the one. It's not a Gibson though, obviously, is it? So I can have two, can't I? I need the one Gibson. Let's put it that way. You know, everyone has to have a Gibson Les Paul that is the one. That's what this is all about, I guess. And I'll probably end up keeping three because we know I love the Tokai. I love the look of the Tokai. This is, I'm still kind of, is it a bit too bling? A bit too bling, you know what that means, don't you? A bit too flamey for my taste. This shot here, because the light, the way these two, I've got two big lights here and they're hitting it and they're going, "Bee, fire!" You can really see the flame. Again, when you put it down like that, you know, less so. It's more my style. But that big, you know, that really obvious flame is, you know, I'm a bit like that still. But it's attractive. There's no denying that, is there? It's attractive. Now, so it sounds good. It feels good. It plays good. Well, I'm going to talk about the neck, actually, because there's something going on with this neck. It's definitely not a Les Paul standard 50s neck. It's definitely not. Not only are the measurements considerably different, as I showed you earlier, not only that, okay? Not only that, you can feel that difference straight away. I noticed it straight away, and I was keen to measure it to compare, to confirm what I thought. But not only that, when I did the profiles with my little orange widget earlier, when I did it at the 12th, I had to do it a few times because it kept coming out as it looked asymmetrical, which is, well, that's not right. It's not going to be an asymmetrical neck. So I thought it was my fault. This thing here is, it's not an exact science. You know, you have to like that, and sometimes you have to do it a few times to get a good, you know, copy of the neck shape. So I thought I'd maybe, you know, twitched or something. And so the one that I showed earlier was, I'll show you that again now with the first front. This is the one that I showed you earlier. It was probably the least asymmetrical looking of the bunch that I tried. But it does look a little bit, doesn't it? So I thought about that and I thought, you know what, maybe it is asymmetrical. So this morning I've just done a few more widget profiles, and here they are. I've done another 4, and here they are. It's asymmetrical. I'm sure it's asymmetrical. It's not my imagination. This neck is asymmetrical, and the way that twists round, it means that it's got a more of a shoulder on the top there. So that's a thing, isn't it? That's interesting. So my thoughts are, well, what could have happened here? Yeah, somebody really did sand this neck to buggery, and that's how it's come out. I think that's really unlikely. Because I think they use CNC and they just, you know, have a bit of a rub to finish it. So, second possibility is this neck doesn't belong on this guitar, which is probably the most likely explanation. But I can't think of what Les Pauls have asymmetrical necks apart from the modern. Obviously, this is not a modern because it hasn't got the big old carve there, and presumably the modern necks are not the same. So I don't know. Are there any other Les Pauls currently that have an asymmetrical neck that we know of in in the original series? Is this a bit of a mongrel? What's happened? I don't know. It's kind of an intrigue, really. It's intriguing. And also, I suppose, speaks to the unusually lightweight. It's unusual, isn't it, to have a Les Paul standard weighing £8, £8.5, £8.6 in it. Yeah, it's a rarity, in my experience, and looking at loads of them online. I've looked at probably 60 in the last month online. I think 3 of them have been under £9. So this is a rarity. This is the latest one. What do you make of that, chaps? What do you make of that? Let me know. What are your thoughts on that? Is this has this ended up in the Les Paul standard 50s production line by accident and been given those pickups and stuff, or has a weird neck ended up on the 50s production line? Anyway, as I said, I finding this neck really comfortable, and probably more comfortable than I did find the 50s neck on the last one I had. So that's a plus for me. It did get quite sticky. It is sticky. You can feel how sticky it is now after I've obviously played it there for a couple of hours, you know, in a hot room. It does get sticky. So if I keep this one, I will be rubbing this down, sanding this down to get rid of some of the varnish on that. Apart from that, the pickups sound good at the moment. The tarnishings, I know a lot of you would have sent it back for that because it's quite bad. But as I say, I'm quite into kind of an aged look anyway, and this won't stay nice for long. It's done quite well so far. The other thing I wanted to mention, as I said earlier, I thought the nuts were improved, and I'm going to do a shot now of the earlier model I had and this one. It definitely looks that this nut is cut properly better. If you look at the early one, here's the early one. You know, they're just kind of sitting in there. Those nut slots don't look big enough. And then you look at this one, you can go, oh yeah, look, there's a little bit of room for movement in there. So I'm not sure if the nuts are actually different or they've just paid more attention to this one. Overall, this guitar here looks like they've paid more attention to detail. So good thing, good thing. All right, well, there you go. That's that. The only other thing, I'm online again this morning. I'll tell you why in a second. I'm online just doing a couple of, I was looking at the flame actually to see if this was unusually flamey, and I don't think it is. I think it just varies wildly, you know, what you get. But what I did discover this morning is that in the last few days, the price in the UK of these has dropped another 20 quid. The street price of these now, pretty much across the board, is 2179. Okay, there's a few retailers there. So if you're thinking about getting one of these, you know, the price is good. The thing about this as well is it represents today, you know, a good couple of years after I bought and sold my first one, this represents reasonable value in today's market, which is not something you can very often say about a Gibson. The price ticket on these of what, $3,000 is just too much. But when that comes down to a more affordable, what's that in dollars? What, $2,500, isn't it? Well, I don't know what you can buy it for in the States, but in the UK, less than £2,200 now gets you a Gibson Les Paul standard. But I do urge you, if you're thinking about it, to do your research and look, because they're clearly not one's the same as another. They all look different. The tops are different. Maybe the necks are different as well. So you probably want to try some. You might have been thinking about getting a 50s, like I was, and thinking, oh, is that neck profile right? Well, I don't know. Better try it and find out before you make any assumptions. Well, there you go. So, yeah, the other reason I was looking online again this morning is the This could be a new section called This Week's Gas. I'm talking about gas earlier. I don't know if this has ever happened to any of you, but you gas for a really expensive guitar and you finally get it. Yeah, brilliant. And then for some ridiculous reasons, just days later, you see another expensive guitar that you think, oh, I really want that. So that's happened to me this week. That's happened. I came across this. So this is the SG standard, I think what they call it, 61, the faded one with the open humbuckers and the maestro. Maestro. When this first came out, look, one, 1,800 quid. I thought, well, that looks nice. Because I've wanted a Frank Zappa Roxy SG, signature SG, Frank Zappa for ages. And they're ridiculously rare and very expensive when they do come up. And this looks really close to that. So when these were released, I thought, oh, I'll get one of them. That's, pretty close. But, 1,800 quid, no way. Selling today for 14.99. So I wonder how this will end. I don't know. I can't tell you. Come back and find out. Will we have another new guitar next week? Will we be cracking on with the comparison with the new, possibly the one Gibson Les Paul, alongside the Eastman and the Tokai Love Rock from Japan? Or will we be continuing with our Squier Stratosonic upgrade? That's in the pipeline. We've got some new parts on order for that and some new pickups to go in it. In it. So yeah, I like to keep myself on my toes. I never quite know. I'll concentrate on finish this film first and then we'll go, all right, what's next? So come back next week, join me, and let's find out. I look forward to it. Thanks for your company today. See you next week, I hope. Cheers for now. Ta-da. This will end. I don't know. I can't tell you.